Good evening. You're watching the news at 6, and we are following breaking news tonight. Both sides of I-5 were shut down late this afternoon by protesters. ABC 10's Frances Wang has been with protesters all afternoon, and she joins us live right now. This is following the shooting of Stephon Clark over the weekend. What can you tell us, Frances?
Hey, Chris. Well, you can see there is still a very large police presence behind me. On the freeway, you can see they're starting to let some traffic move slowly on one side, but on the southbound side, it looks like they still have it shut down for now. I asked officers, since most of the protesters did move off the freeway, they're going to open it back up anytime soon, and they said they don't know just yet because, again, a very active and fluid situation. Not much has changed since we last saw you closer to 5:30, except for a lot of the protesters are now moving their way back through Sacramento. Now, as you can see, there's really not a lot of people as gathered as there was earlier. The crowd has definitely dispersed. Oh, you can also see a police helicopter in the air there. But the crowd has dispersed, and a lot of people are kind of doing their own thing. A lot of different community leaders out here leading the chants in different areas. And earlier, there was a police officer trying to get through the street to help the other officers who are guarding the freeway, and then the crowds gathered around the police car. Now, earlier in the 5, Liz had asked if this was a peaceful protest. It was peaceful, but at some points it did get rowdy. If you take a look at this video, there was a point when protesters gathered on top of police cars and started chanting from the police cars. A lot of people wanting to talk to the police officers, confronting them, and a big chant today here is say his name. So they wanted the officers to say his name, Stephon Clark. Now, a lot of the signs, at one point, there was a black officer who even held one of the signs, I think to show that he was in solidarity with some of the protesters. Some of the protesters clapped, glad to see that support. Others were not so happy that an officer was holding their sign. So just a lot of mixed feelings, a lot of different crowds. Let's walk down further and see what's going on. If you can see the Golden One Center just further up behind me, that's where most of the crowds are gathered. Again, just 30 minutes ago, the crowds completely shut down the freeway, and now everyone's moving their way down the streets. Not sure where we're heading now. It looks like the end goal, though, is City Hall, because this event had originally been scheduled for 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. So it looks like we're marching back to City Hall, and that's where things are going to end tonight. Again, Chris, things very active and fluid. We don't know if the officers are going to open up both sides of the freeway yet. They don't even seem to know, because they don't know if the protesters are going to march back up this way at any point, but we'll be sure to keep you updated with the latest. For now, back to you.
Frances, I want to ask you, because we know that they had planned this rally to start at the Capitol this afternoon. There were some people at City Hall, and then it devolved into this. We've not seen this type of thing here in the capital city. You've seen these type of protests happening across the country. What is your take as you're there with folks? Are they there to try to incite violence? Are they there to try to get some type of message across? What are you hearing from people there on the ground?
You know, Chris, so it was supposed to start at City Hall. It was supposed to be a rally. They did march. Let's walk this way in case we run into anything. But they were marching around City Hall, and then they marched through Cesar Chavez Park as well as around that area. And so it wasn't planned that they were going to march towards the freeway at all. They did say, let's go to the freeway intersection, and then at that point, one of the leaders who was behind this rally said, hey, if you feel comfortable, and you don't have to if you don't, we're going to go on the freeway. And so that's what happened there. I would say my take, and since I've been here this afternoon, there is a lot of anger, there's a lot of passion, a lot of frustration. And as some people are getting very angry and maybe a little rowdy, other community leaders are kind of telling them, you know, this is not the way we want to do things. We want to protest peacefully. And so there are plenty of community leaders and group leaders out here who is keeping everything under control. Now, at the very beginning, when things were at City Hall, some of the protesters were saying things like, where are the police? They were very upset that there was no sense of police presence. And as you can see, as we march towards the freeway, that quickly changed, Chris.
Frances Wang reporting live for us tonight, literally walking the streets of downtown, giving us a view of what was a pretty rowdy afternoon, what started as a peaceful protest turning into a bit of chaos this afternoon as I-5 was shut down when people took to the freeway and then jumped on police cars, you're saying, Frances.
Wait, Chris, if you can still hear me, it looks like people are gathering again at the Golden One Center. Let's see if we can make our way down there and see what's going on.
Sure.
I think for the most part, people are just marching through the streets of downtown Sacramento. Leaders are rallying them up. there was a point when everyone was getting off the freeway saying, hey, let's not have space between us. Let's show we are all together, we're all in this together, and not have any space.
Okay.
I think I hear some drumming.
Yes, Francis.
Hold on, let's see if we can get closer.
And
sounds
as
like there's some
Francis
drumming
takes us
going
down,
on.
yes. As she takes us to this scene, we want to point out that the mayor did speak today, and he asked for calm. He wanted people to know that, sure, there are questions, but there is a way to get your message out.
All right, there's some people
people
drumming,
gathered.
Chris, as you can see, as people are chanting around them. And Pastor Simmons, can I bring you in here real quick? Because there's a lot of footage out there showing people, showing kind of a chaotic scene. People chanting on police cars, people, yelling at police. As a community leader, how would you explain that anger and that frustration?
Frustration, trauma, and things are triggering that trauma, and it's not helping that we're out here and we're trying to be leaders in this space. We need some support in this space right here. This is trauma.
And I know you guys want to have a productive and a very peaceful protest, and there are a lot of leaders like you out here making sure that happens.
Make sure folks are safe, making sure, everybody in this space is traumatized, and this is the outlet that is releasing that for this moment.
All right, so earlier we on the freeway, it looks like everyone has dispersed. Is this where most of the crowds were? Because we saw hundreds of people earlier. Are people spread out throughout downtown Sacramento?
Spread out throughout different areas, and it's definitely, people may call it what they want to call it. This is pain being released. That's what it is. All for Stephon Clark, all for the rest of the individuals that's lost their lives. This is a result of that.
Thank you very much, Pastor, for your perspective. All right, again, you can see people are rallying around the drums and chanting Stephon Clark's name. Chris, as you heard the pastor say, people are kind of spread out towards the city throughout the city right now, but everything should end at City Hall closer to 7. We'll keep you updated with the latest.
Okay, Francis, stand by. We'll come back to you shortly. But as I was mentioning, we also heard from Mayor Darrell Steinberg today. He says there's still more questions than answers after the release of that body cam video. But he also says issues like this in the community must lead to honest conversations.
It's a different experience for a young African-American man to walk down the street on a Saturday night with his friends. It is a far different experience for an African-American mother or father to watch their son leave the house for a job or for a good time and wonder, God, will I ever see him again?
Now, on the same note, Steinberg says that perspective is not lost on law enforcement.
Loved ones ask themselves the same question every day when he or she leaves home for the beat. Will I see my loved one again?
And that is why Steinberg says he wants to take a closer look at police protocol. He posed a list of questions that he says he wants answers for by the April 10th City Council meeting, and we'll keep you posted with what they find. Now, the video showing the shooting of Stephon Clark sparked a lot of controversy and answered some, but not all of the questions. So today we went to an expert, a former FBI special agent. He tells ABC 10's Kurt Rivera what he sees in that video.
It appears that they get him at gunpoint along the side of the house, but then he takes off again.
Don Vilfer has 15 years experience with the FBI's SWAT and Violent Crimes Unit.
Hey, show me your hands!
Now a computer forensics expert for the Van Group in Roseville. He's also taught the use of police deadly force to other FBI agents in Washington, D.C.
From what your observation was, did he put his hands up or did he not put his hands up?
You really can't see from this video what he's doing with his hands, I don't think.
What does that tell you as an officer?
Well, I think the officers then learned that he's not going to be compliant, obviously, but that he knows that they're there and he's running from them.
And although Clark was only holding a cell phone, in Vilfer's observation of the video, could it have been mistaken for a gun?
In the recording, they apparently thought there was a gun because they discuss a gun. They talk about not being able to see the gun anymore after he's down. So that's some clue as to what their perceptions were at the time.
If you put yourself in their shoes, those officers' shoes, what have you done pretty much what they did?
It's hard to say because, you know, I don't know all the facts. I don't know what all the officers were told, you know, what they observed through their own eyes.
Then there is this Facebook question from a viewer.
Why 20 shots? Are they trained to unload their weapon in that situation?
You know, the officers aren't trained to unload their weapon, and they're not trained to fire just one shot either. You know, it's not like on TV where you shoot somebody once and they go down.
Bottom line, Vilfer says the Supreme Court says one has to take in the totality of the circumstances as seen by a reasonable police officer at the time. In Roseville, Kurt Rivera, ABC 10 News.
Let's take a look at the traffic maps now. As you can see, a lot of red out there this evening, especially downtown, as protesters have shut down I-5 in both directions following the shooting of Stephon Clark over the weekend. And so, if you can, you'll want to avoid the downtown Sacramento area, those protesters impacting traffic this evening. If we can, I want to show you some live video as we speak, as people have gathered downtown. They are here now at the Golden One Center. Protesters were beginning to disperse, but earlier this afternoon we saw people blocking the interstate, jumping up and down on police vehicles. It's not something that we have seen here in the capital city. You see it across cities and other places of parts of the country, but certainly not here in the capital city. And so we will be providing extended live coverage of this breaking news throughout the evening. Stay with us. Much more coming up right after this.